Welcome back to Milan Recording Studios. My name is James Pavel Chakras, and in today's video, in this nondescript looking box, we have something that actually is perhaps quite interesting. This was brought to my attention by one of my followers named Troy, and he sent me an email through the MilanRecordingStudios.com website, and he told me about this instrument that he saw on ads on Facebook, and it was called the Duo Piano, and he thought it was really intriguing. So he sent me a link to their website, and I took a look at it, and I also thought it was really interesting. It's an instrument that promises a lot of good things for a relatively low price, but probably the most interesting thing about it was that it splits in half. So it's an 88-key digital piano that has a split point in the middle, and you can literally take the two halves apart and use one half of it as its own, like 40-something key little tiny piano, probably 44 keys, or you can join the second half to it and have a full 88 keys, which honestly sounds pretty amazing. And even if it turns out that it doesn't work well, that idea is fantastic. I myself have thought a lot about if it's possible to have an instrument like that, but professional quality, right? Like the quality level of like a CP88, except it splits in half and is super portable. But this is obviously not that same quality level as a Yamaha CP88 or something like that, but it does that. So it splits in half. So we're going to take a look and see how exactly this thing works and how good it actually is. It's at a relatively affordable price point. It's a little bit over $200, which I think is very reasonable. And so we're going to see just how good it is. Now, I'm going to get it out of the box, but before I do that, what I'm going to do is take you guys on a brief little 5-minute or so tour of their website, because there's a few interesting things on there I wanted to talk about, and one of those is a video that Troy actually linked me to. It's an unlisted video that he somehow stumbled across and then sent me, and it's a video of someone playing one of these duo piano instruments, and there's a couple of things there that are of concern to me, so I wanted to discuss those and talk to you about those, also show you their website, and just show you a couple of interesting things they say about this instrument. Then when we come back from that tour, this will be out of the box and just about ready to play, so let's do that. So let's take a little look here at Duo Piano's website. It's a pretty simple, basic layout. They only have one product to sell, and that is the Duo Piano itself. So if we scroll down here a little bit, we will see that actually they make some very grand statements about this piano. One of them is found here underneath of this picture of the lady sitting on the mountain. It says here, most keyboards make you choose between performance and portability, but our Duo splicing piano delivers equally on both fronts. Now that's a very grand statement. That's basically implying that this digital piano is equally as good at being a performing piano and being a portable piano, and it's got to be a good portable piano. There's no way it's not. So that means it also has to be a great performing piano, and, well, we'll see about that. I kind of doubt that that is the case, but who knows? We shall see. It also says here, lightweight and road ready, this mobile instrument has a full-size 88-note keyboard and dynamic sound so that you can play with the correct technique and expression, vital for classical music or more complex pieces. So that is also quite the statement. Right here we have a video here about the instrument, which is not the one that Troy sent me that I also wanted to talk about, but this is something I wanted to mention. I've taken a quick look through this video, and I've noticed something very interesting about this piano. As you can see here, it joins in half, as we know. So if we take a look at her putting it up on the stand, and voila! Look at this. You can see here that it's got this bend in the middle there when she's putting it up there. So this thing is going to be very, very flexible and going to have a lot of flex in that middle part. 88 keys right, and then when she puts it down, look at it flex when she plays it. When she plays some chords on it, you can totally see it bending. Let me spin it back a bit. Every time she plays the piano, you can see it bend. So that's going to be something you're going to want to watch out for. It's definitely not going to be super sturdy. You're not going to be able to pound on it. Now here's something that's really funny, is this gram weight sitting on the key. I don't know if this is inspired by my videos of gram weights on keyboards that have gone over pretty big on the internet or not, but either way it's kind of funny. They've got this weird looking gram weight shaped kind of like a fat Hershey's Kiss on the piano. They also say some more big grand things about it over here. It features piano style keys with graded soft touch that enable more expressive playing. They also claim that the keys have a good action and apparently mimic a real acoustic piano. Personally, I highly doubt that. Look at how slim this is. There's no way they're able to fit in any kind of like a mechanical weighted action in here, and I doubt that they're going to be graded as well. They've got to be spring keys, and I highly doubt that they are graded. So very, very bold statements about this instrument that I have a funny feeling it won't be able to fulfill, but sometimes things surprise us, especially for this $200 price point. You know, I doubt it will. I doubt it will do what it's supposed to do, according to the website. It says here 88 full-size keys. They don't look like full-size keys to me. It also says, and this is probably the boldest statement of all, shut your eyes and you'll think you're playing a regular piano. That is a massively bold statement. And then in the next picture over, the keys again have good action and mimic a real acoustic piano, apparently. This is something over here, though, this latch that I do think looks pretty cool. Although it has some flex, which I think is kind of a given, I do think that the latch looks like it's going to be very easy to use, and I think this will go together very nicely. It shows it being used on an X stand, and the lady who made this video up here also was using it on like an X-style stand. But I don't think that's the ideal way to use this. I think the best way to play it would be on a tabletop because of that flex. Now, the video that Troy sent me is actually here. It's an unlisted YouTube video from Piano Duo. And if we take a listen to this, you'll notice that it sounds a lot better than what you'd expect for $200. Let's have a quick listen to this. So that does not sound like your average $200 piano. And that I think is very interesting. I do notice there's a bit of a delay in the audio, like when the person pushes the key and when the note actually sounds. Let me look at it again here. Yeah, so there's definitely some latency. It looks like the keys are being pushed earlier than the notes actually sound. So that is interesting. That could indicate that perhaps this is a doctored video, or perhaps they're running it through a MIDI controller, or using it as a MIDI controller and then running it through some external software and using that as the audio, which I don't think is really a fair comparison or a fair test of how the instrument actually sounds, because it does have internal sounds of its own. It's not just a MIDI controller. So I think in that case, it's not really a fair test of how the instrument actually sounds. It's just look at it being played. So there's that. Those are the two things I wanted to really talk about. But that's a quick little view of the Duo Piano website. So now let's go check out how it actually plays in the real world. So now we have the Duo Piano out of the package, and I thought I would talk about some of the things that it comes with, some of the things that it doesn't come with, and talk about the positives and negatives of this instrument. Like every review that I have, I'm going to have some things that I like about the product and some things that I do not like about the product. However, I think we'll find that there's a bit of a discrepancy, and there's a lot more things I'll mention in this video that fall into one of those categories and not the other one of those categories, but we'll get to that later on in this video. So first of all, about the instrument. As you can see, there are in fact two different halves. I have them stacked on top of each other. I will show you guys how it goes together. The assembly process there is very quick and simple, and I do like the way in which they go together. The build quality of each individual half, the quality of the plastic is actually pretty decent. It doesn't feel too horribly cheap, although I do have to say that they do have some like flex to them as well, especially this one because it's like a little bit longer, I think. So this one especially has some twist and some flex to it. But they are extremely slim, so you do kind of have to expect that the build quality will be a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? There's going to be some sacrifices there because of the incredible slimness. One thing I do like about it is, in fact, the portability. Regardless of the overall quality, it is, in fact, portable, and it definitely excels in being that. It's very slim, it's impossibly light, and so that, I suppose, is a bonus. The peripherals that it comes with a few different things. Let me grab those real quick. I got a few of them on the floor and a couple of them behind me. Actually, I got the one behind me first, because that's the box it came in, and I thought it was hilarious, because instead of having a box with images of what the product is inside, it's just a cardboard box. This is literally the box it came in. It just says "Made in China" in gigantic letters on the side, and I thought that was oh so funny. Then down here on the floor, we have a couple of more things. We have the little power brick because this is actually charged up with USB, and it has a internal rechargeable battery that is non-replaceable. So you've got a USB Type-C cable here, and then you've just got a basic, cheap power brick. That will be very useful for me with, I'm assuming, charging phones and stuff. I'm sure that will work with that, as well as the USB-C cable. Now this here is the pedal it comes with, which is unique because unlike every other pedal I've seen, it does not have a 1/4" jack. It has a 3.5mm cable. So that means you will not be able to use any other type of digital piano pedal with this instrument, nor will you be able to use this pedal with any other instrument. Not that you'd really want to. You guys probably can't see it in the video, but the little rubber pad underneath of the pedal that helps it stick to the floor is actually off-center by about 1/4 inch, and it's just sticking off of the side. And that's kind of giving us an idea here of the overall theme of this video here. It's very, very high quality. I'm obviously being sarcastic. It's just your basic pedal. Also, it smells like a tire shop, that rubber, so that's kind of fun. It smells like recycled automobile tires. So that is the pedal, those are the power cables, and it has a non-replaceable, rechargeable, I'm assuming, lithium-ion battery inside. I don't know the specs, I don't know how many milliamp hours it is, but I haven't charged it yet, and it's still been running strong. It says to charge it before use, but I'm lazy and I didn't charge it, and so far it's going strong. Maybe it'll die in the middle of the video, but we will see. It seems to be an adequately big battery. Let's put these down on the floor, and then I think I'll assemble this and put it together. It also came with a simple little quick guide as well. So the assembly process, like I said, is quite simple. What you're going to want to do is first take the main half, which, as stated previously, can be used, I think I stated this previously, it can be used as its own individual half. So you could just take this with you and play this if you wanted to. So it works all by itself. I'm assuming that would also increase the battery life a bit because you have to power less keys and not power this other speaker over here. It has one tiny little speaker right here, and it also has a rudimentary control panel. I say rudimentary because the buttons and stuff are not the easiest to press, and it's not really the greatest layout of user interfaces. You got tone buttons here, volume buttons here, and you can do a few other things. You can do a demo, and you can make recordings and split and rhythms and stuff like that. But I haven't even tried those out, and I'm honestly not even going to mention them in this video because it's not even worth doing. So yeah, that's this half. So what you're going to want to do, I'm going to turn it back off again. You're going to want to come to this end where there's a latch. You're going to open up that latch and then remove this protective end cap. The end cap, the quality of this plastic is actually great. This feels like really durable plastic. Just thought I'd mention that. It feels I could throw it across the room and it would be fine. Inside of here you have a 24-pin connector that then, if I lay this, let's do it this way. If I lay it upside down on the table, I can then just simply slide the other half onto it, just like so. Boom. Then I just lower the latch over that, and then connected. So that's as easy as that is. The assembly process is absolutely wonderful, and I really enjoy assembling and disassembling this instrument. Now, time for the less positive things. I'm going to put this on the floor because I don't need that on my bench. First of all, and I mentioned this earlier about the video that was on their website, you have a massive amount of like flex here with this hinge. If there was a second hinge on top, I think that would reduce the amount of flex, but there still would be flex. I don't really know what to say about it. I mean, it's kind of a given that it's going to be a weak point. I think it's kind of ridiculously weak, honestly. And even on this flat table-style stand I'm using here, because it sticks off the edge by about like a foot on either side, it still has some flex. On a normal table, there's less flex. But on this, there is a lot of flex. So that's going to be a problem. Eventually, that will break. If it's not the 24-pin cable or connection that breaks, it's going to be like the plastic or something else in there that breaks. So that's not ideal. I love the idea of a splitting piano. You can take one half with you if you don't need the full half. But I think we'll see as we continue on throughout the video that sadly these instruments, and I think this will apply to all of these folding, splitting style pianos, sadly the instrument itself just isn't really high quality enough to be of any help at all. But I'll save more of that for the video. You may notice a music rest stand here. There's a little slot up here in the top that appears to have a couple of nubs that a music rest would fit into. It did not come with a music rest. I'm a little bit bummed about that. but it did not come with a music rest, even though it has a music rest slot. I did not look on their website. Perhaps there is an optional music stand, but I don't know. I'm not really sure that's worth it, honestly. Over here, like I said, you've got the control panel. You've also got your inputs and outputs. So you've got your headphone jack. You've got your pedal, which I haven't even bothered to put in because I don't really need to. What else do you have on the stand? I haven't even looked at it. You've got MP3, apparently, and you've got a mic, and these the same USB. So you've got a USB Type-C, that's for your power. You can run it externally to like an MP3 or run an MP3 player into it, something like that, and stuff like that. So, recording this instrument. A lot of people always ask, oh, how do you record your pianos? And it is an important question to know. So what I wanted to discuss here, while I plug it in, is how I'm recording it. So what I've got going on here, as I lean over here, is a 3.5mm cable, because that's all this has. And then it's going into a splitter, so it's exporting two different stereo outputs, one that is going to my recording setup, and the other that is going to an amplifier, so I can hear what I am doing. So that is our recording setup. I am recording it in stereo, but it does not appear to have actual stereo signal. So that is kind of interesting. Let me plug this in here. So I think it's about time we boot this up and play it. Now, as you may remember, sorry for the pops, that's the amp being upset. As you may remember, in that video I showed you of the person playing it online, it sounded beautiful. It sounded very, very nice, especially when you factor in the fact that it's a $200 instrument. When I play this here, you will notice that it sounds different. Let me know what you guys think. I don't even know what I should play. Maybe I will insult myself and play my original treble test piece on this instrument, and we'll see how that goes. Just as a quick comparison, you've heard how it sounds when I play it. Let's hear their video of it being played now. So there's obviously some sorcery going on here in their video. It is not an accurate representation of how this instrument actually sounds. So as you can hear, that sounds absolutely nothing like what was shown in the video. The one of the person playing it on their desk or whatever with the fluffy pillow in the background. It sounds nothing at all like that video, and I definitely think there was some sorcery going on in that video. My best guess, I mean, there's two possibilities. One is that they're syncing it to a pre-recorded take on a real piano or a higher quality digital piano, most likely that. But because it still sounds digital and doesn't sound like an authentic digital piano, my best guess is that if you look in the video, you'll see like a MacBook sitting next to the piano, or next to, well, this isn't a piano, this thing. You can see a MacBook sitting next to it, and my best guess is that they're running this instrument as like a MIDI controller through the MacBook and then recording that output. While I'm not entirely sold on how amazing VSTs are, as everyone says online, they will sound better than this. That is an absolute given. So I think that is what's happening in that video, because it does not sound anything like what this is. This is, frankly, has zero musical value whatsoever. As much as I like the fact that it splits, and I think it looks kind of cool, and the portability is perfect, it's very easy to take around, the musical value is basically non-existent. Now, sometimes with these low-end digital pianos, the piano sound will be atrocious, but then there'll be some other sounds in there, like the Rhodes, or the whirly sound, or something else, maybe organs, that are actually kind of fun to play. And even that's not the case with this instrument. There's 120-something different sounds here. I can't even move the sounds. That's another problem I have with this thing. Sometimes it just won't let me move and change the tone, so I guess I can't go through and show you the different tones because it's broken. I can change the volume, but I can't change the tone, so that's really cool. There's 120-something different tones in this instrument. That flex is beautiful. 120 different tones in this instrument, and all of them are pretty terrible. I'm kind of sad that I can't show you how bad they are. Let me restart this thing and see if that fixes it. hope. Restarted it and it still won't let me change the sounds. So, again, very high quality instrument, but there are no redeeming sound qualities whatsoever in this instrument. I played the Rhodes sounds, I played the trumpet, the symphonic strings pad sounds. There was a celesta sound that was actually subpar, and it was decent to listen to, so I'm sad I can't show you that one. And then there were also a couple of really weird, like, synth pads that were kind of fun to play with. But other than that, there was, like, one sound that was actually decent to listen to, the celesta sounds, and everything else is a pile of hot mess. So that is this instrument, essentially, and I'm kind of sad to say that because I wanted to like this. I wanted to have nice things to say about it, and sadly I don't. There's very, very little musical value about this instrument. And one thing I did want to mention about it, and one of the grand statements they said about this on their website, is the fact that if you close your eyes, you can imagine playing a real piano. No. That is as far from the truth as you could possibly get. It feels more like, if I close my eyes, it feels more like I'm pushing a bowl of Jell-O. That's the feel that I get from this action, and I've never described another action the same way. The dynamic response, while it does exist, it is kind of all over the place. It's a lot like the Williams Legato 3 I reviewed, although I think the dynamic response of this is slightly more consistent than the Williams Legato 3. But the feel of the action is just about equally as terrible. It does not feel anything like a piano. It does not feel anything like a respectable instrument that uses a semi-weighted key bed, like an organ. It doesn't feel like an organ. It doesn't feel like a synth, like a Moog or something that actually has a nice feeling action. It doesn't feel like any of those. It feels just rubbery and goopy and really, really not good. So that, again, is just a straight up lie, that if you close your eyes, you'll feel like playing a real piano. And to be honest, to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt, that is kind of true with most digital pianos. A lot of other digital piano manufacturers, even well-known ones, will say, oh, our action replicates that of a real piano and feels like a real piano. And while those still don't, those are certainly playable. The likes of Roland and Yamaha and Korg and stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan of Roland keybeds and keyboards, but even those are leagues and leagues better than this. And so while those companies do say that their keybeds feel like a real piano, and they don't, they're still playable and will give you a reliable dynamic response and good dynamic control, which this does not. What else is there to say about this instrument? I mean, honestly, there's not. Troy, I am very sorry. I think Troy was hoping that this would be a phenomenal instrument and that I'd be able to say wonderful things about it. And I'm really not. I know that I've played nothing at all on this instrument. I've played my treble test piece and that's it. And a lot of you guys want me to play more on this instrument. But the truth is, if I play any more, I will just make a fool of myself because this instrument makes it look like I do not know how to play the piano. One thing I've noticed is that Bach music usually sounds good on anything you play it on, and even that's not the case. Even the great master Bach sounds terrible on this instrument. Just absolutely atrocious. It sounds awful. It sounds really, really horrible. And if this is your first video of mine that you've ever seen, you're probably thinking, who is this guy and why is he making videos on things he cannot play? I promise you that is not the case. The majority of that is, honestly, all of it is this keyboard. It is an absolutely atrocious instrument. And it's cute. It looks cool. But that's really everything there is to say. And are these keys full size? I mean, I should get a real piano key next to them and take it out of my piano and hold it next to it to show you that the keys are not full-size keys, but I don't think we really need to say that either, so that, again, is a lie. Now, if this instrument... Let me just discuss why my video of this is so negative. If this was portrayed as an instrument for children, and if it was portrayed as, here's a fun toy for your child, this video would have been still negative, but a lot less negative. I would have gone into it with a completely different approach. I would have gone into it with saying, is this a valuable instrument for a child? Would a child like this? I think a child would like this. I don't know how valuable it would be, but for learning note names and maybe how to play C and G major, maybe it would be a help. Anything beyond that, debatable. But because they market it as being a professional level instrument that you can take take it with you anywhere and make beautiful music, there's only one statement in that that's true, and that you can take it with you anywhere. It's not a professional level instrument, and you can't make beautiful music with it. It's again the same sort of thing that Williams kind of went through as well with their instruments. On their website they say they're amazing and they recorded these world-class instruments, which they kind of did. They sampled a Fazioli F308 for Williams pianos, but they sound horrible on the keyboard. And it's the same thing with Williams, and it's the same thing with this. They tout it as being a professional level instrument, and it's just not. It's about as far from the truth as you can get. So is it a cool toy? Yeah. Is it an expensive toy? Yes. Do I recommend buying it? No. If you want to hang it up on your wall or something at like two goofy angles and have the two halves, I mean, sure, it would be interesting wall art, I suppose, but I don't know. There's better art you could buy for $200, and there's better instruments you could buy for $200. So, sadly, the Duo piano is probably... It's one of the few instruments I've reviewed on my channel, besides the Williams and besides like the Roland FP30 and stuff. Even the FP30 is a lot more redeemable than this. But this and the Williams Legato 3 for sure are two instruments that I have to say, do not buy whatever you do. This is just absolutely, absolutely atrocious. I feel like there's something else I wanted to say about this instrument, but there really isn't. I do apologize for the lack of music in this video, but again, you guys can hear how terrible it sounds. It's just horrible, and again, I still can't change the tone buttons, which is sad to me. It was doing that earlier, and then it was working, and now it's not working again, so the control panel is also very low quality. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this video to the highest extent that you possibly could. I don't know if it was an enjoyable video to watch, because it's not that great of an instrument, but a lot of you guys want me to review these odd, strange, bottom-tier, unusual pianos, and I think that in itself might be enjoyable for some of you. So I do hope that you guys did enjoy this video. It was kind of fun to make. It is fun to look at these strange, oddball little digital piano things and see just exactly what they are. Sadly, this one isn't very much at all, but maybe in the future we'll find some that actually are pretty cool. So thank you very much, Troy, for suggesting this instrument to me. I actually did have a lot of fun checking it out and looking at it, and so I do thank you very much for the video idea. If any of you guys have other strange, cheap digital pianos, and honestly anything, but especially piano style stuff that you want me to check out, definitely leave a suggestion. I may or may not do it, I may or may not get to it, but I will always consider it, and some of your guys' future suggestions may be seen in future videos. So if you guys have any other suggestions about strange little digital pianos you want me to check out, feel free to leave those comments down below. If you guys have one of these and you want to input your thoughts of it, go ahead too. I'd be curious to see how you guys like it as well. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, you might want to go check out my channel and see me actually play music on actual instruments, so you know that I actually do know how to play the piano. If you guys do like my channel and you feel like subscribing, feel free to go ahead and subscribe, and if you do subscribe, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.